Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. We are from Advanced Grammar Group. We'll be explain a little bit material about the first inversion, second future time, perfect and continuous. The last is present perfect. The member of our group, the first is me, Pramita. Second is Rosa Indriana Prihastini. Third, Muhammad Taufik. 4. Hana Permata Sandi. 5. Septinia Dwi Putri. And the last, Salsa Diva Nabila. Alright, for the first material will be explained by me. With the material is inversion. Let's continue. Alright, for the first material is inversion. What is inversion? Inversion just means putting the verb before the subject. Okay, for example, a statement has the subject before the verb. But to make a question word order, we invert the subject and the verb with an auxiliary or modal verbs before the subject. Okay, there is the example with the sentence. The first is she sings. She as a subject and sing as a verb. This is the normal sentence. Second is does she sing? Does is an auxiliary. She as a subject and sing as a verb. And this is sentence is a inversion because does before the subject. Okay, the next is they are working. They as a subject, are as an auxiliary, and working as a verb. Are they working? Are as an auxiliary, they as a subject, and working as a verb. Joe can swim. Joe is subject, can as a modal, verb, and swim is a verb. Can Joe swim? Can as a modal, verb, Joe is a subject, and swim is a verb. Okay, the next is when does inversion happen? Inversion happen can be in negative adverbs. In formal styles, when we use an adverb with negative meaning, never, seldom, rarely, scarcely, and hardly, in front position for emphasis, we invert the subject and auxiliary or modal verbs. With example, never have we witnessed such cruel behavior by one child to another, or we have never witnessed. The second example is seldom does one hear a politician say sorry, or no one seldom hears. And the second is inversion can happen in expression beginning with not. We also invert the subject and the verb after not, plus a prepositional phrase or clause in an initial position. For example, not for a moment did I think I will be offered the job, so I was amazed when I got it. The second is not till I got home did I realize my wallet was missing. And the last inversion happen can be in here and there. Inversion can happen after here and after there, and adverb of place. After here and there, we can use main verb without an auxiliary verb or modal verb. For example, here comes the bus. And the second is, here's your coffee. Third, I opened the door and there stood Michelle, I covered in mud. And the last, she looked out and there was Pamela, walking along arm in arm with Goldie. Alright, that's all the material about inversion has been explained by me. The next material will be explained by Rosa.
Alright, my name is Rosa Indriana Prihastini, and here I will explain regarding Hannah's struggle, namely the future time perfect. Future time perfect Before I explain about the future perfect, I will first explain about future time. Future time. Future time is a grammatical tense that has basic constructs: will, going to, and present continuous. Will. Will is normally known as the predictive future and describes known facts or what we're supposed to. For example, I will be home around 10 p.m. or I'm going to be late this morning. I'll trade the night. Will here is a statement that describes about the future that is certain to happen. Will can also take the form of assumption. For example, the weather forecast shows it will rain in this afternoon. Or, I will get sick if I work too much. Will here is a statement that takes the form of assumption. Will is also used to express an immediate decision. For example, looking at some vegetables in the refrigerator, I will cook spinach vegetables. Or, I'm lazy to cook today, I will order GoFood. Will here is a statement used to express an immediate decision or something that the speaker will do immediately. Then there is be going to. Be going to describe intention or plans. At the moment of speaking, the plans have already been made. For example, I have earned $100. I'm going to buy a new bag. Or, she's going to be late today. She has a lot of dirty dishes to clean. Going to here is a statement describing intention where, during this conversation, plans have been made. Going to is also used to describe an event whose cause is present or evident. For example, I look at the tree behind the house. It's going to bear fruit. Going to here is a statement describing intention where, during this conversation, plans have been made. Next is future perfect. Future perfect. Future perfect is a grammatical tense that has both simple and continuous forms and refers to time, which will look back at from a future point. To a future perfect tense, in positive form will be I will have arrived or you will have arrived. In negative form will be I won't have arrived or you won't have arrived. In question form will be will I have arrived or will you have arrived? And in negative question form will be won't I have arrived or won't I have arrived? And next, the future perfect can be used with a continuous form as referring to the time we see from the future. For example, in 3 months' time, I will have lost my wage. Going to here is a statement describing intention where during this conversation, plans have been made. And it can also be used to express an assumption on the part of the speaker. For example, you won't have played the game. Of course. This means that I assume you have not played the game. Alright, so future time perfect is a grammatical tense whose form is simple and continuous and refers to the time we look back on from the future. It can also be used as a statement of assumption from the speaker. Alright, so I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, next is a future continuous. Will explain by me. I am Muhammad Taufik. Okay, alright. The future continuous tense is used to describe an action that will be happening over a period of time in the future. It is also known as the future progressive tense. The structure of the future continuous tense is formed by using the modal verb will and the verb be as bare infinitive, followed by the present participle form of the actionable verb with the ing and. Alright, next is alright. to describe an event which will be happening a future point. For instance, come around in the morning. I will be painting in the kitchen. Okay, it can also describe events which are going to happen anyway rather than events which we chose to make happen. Okay, for instance, want brother to fix a time to see you because I will sailing into the office away several times next week. In some contexts, future continuous also sound more polite than will. For instance, will you be going to the shop later? If you go, could you get me some milk? It can also be used to refer to fixed argument and plans. For instance, the band will be performing live in Paris this summer. Alright, I think that's all for me. Next.
Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Permata Sandi. Before was be explained by Pramita. And now the third present perfect continuous. Okay. After we discuss with our group, and then we'll find the hardship in the present perfect continuous. For that, check a look. Okay. Before I will explain you what that present perfect continuous. Present perfect continuous tense is grammatical tense used in English to describe actions or events that began in the past and have continued up to the present, emphasizing their duration and ongoing nature. It is formed by using the auxiliary verb like have or has, depending on the subject. Okay? Like been and the present participle based from first ing of the main verb. Now, take a look in this present perfect continuous. That present perfect continuous progressive can refer to range of meaning depending on the time expression used and the context. For instance, I've been waiting for you for 3 hours. Okay, check a look in the sentence like I is subject or non-phrase, have been, that any have and been like using auxiliary verb have been, waiting. Okay, in the present perfect continuous, we use based from plus ing like why can be waiting. Okay, for you for 3 hours. Okay, any sentence word for, like we can choose signs and etc. Okay, now what the problem? Okay, the hardship in this tense, like the first any verb form and auxiliary verb. Okay, why that we find that hard? Okay, struggle with conjunctions and understanding when to use have or has. Like in the plural, in the singular, we choose what, like to using has or have. Okay, and the second, we find the hardship is relevant to the present, like challenging to determine when an action is considered ongoing or has a connection to the current moment. The third, we find that differentiating from present continuous, like the present perfect continuous embraces the duration of an action that began in the past and is ongoing or has just finished, while the present continuous focus on action happening right now. Okay. The third, we find that duration expression. How the use of time expression like for and signs can be confusing. What the solution of that hardship? Okay, check a look. After we discuss with our group, we can give solution like the first, study and practice verb forms, like focus on the correct use of auxiliary verbs have and has along with the present participle verb plus ing. Practice conjuncing verb in the present perfect continuous tense. Okay, and the second, use understanding relevance to the present. Okay, the solution like what? Like internalize the idea and the present perfect continuous tense, emphasize the connections between past actions and the present moment. Ask yourself whether the action is still ongoing or has bearing on the current situation. Okay. The third, different from present continuous. Okay, we find the solution like pay close attention to the context and time frame of the action. The present perfect continuous emphasize action that began in the in the past and are still ongoing or have just concluded. Contrast it with the present continuous, which describe action are occurring right now. Okay, the fourth, learn duration expression. Okay, this is the last solution we give to you, like familiar yourself with expression like for and signs to describe the durations of actions. Practice like using them in the sentence to convey how long the action have been happening. Okay, here I will give you example or from the present perfect continuous tense. The first, for instance, we have been discussing the midterm test of advanced grammar for weeks. Okay, this is any we like NP1 like non-praise have been auxiliary verb, and then discussing like verb ing. To the midterm test of the advanced grammar 4 weeks dalam seminggu. Okay. The second, Hannah has been preparing the internship interview for this morning. Okay, Hannah, like the NP1, has been the auxiliary verb preparing, like verb ing, the internship interview for this morning. And for this morning. Okay. The third, the students have been recharging the project for a week. The students like NP1 and have been like auxiliary verb recharging verb ing like their project for weeks. Okay, I hope you understand, and next will be explained by myself. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Septina Dwi Putri. I want to explain about the inversion. How to write inverted conditional content inversion instead of if. Inversion means that we reverse the order of the verb and the subject. This technique is typically seen in the more formal context. First, inversion in the first conditional. To invert sentence in the first conditional, we place the auxiliary should before the subject, followed by the infinitive of the main verb, should plus subject plus infinitive. Example, should you book with us again, we will provide you a 3% discount. If you book with us again, second inversion with the second conditional. Generally speaking, in uncommon to use inversion in second conditional sentence. Inverted second conditional if clauses are often restricted to formal written English. In second conditional, inversion is used to rewrite of clauses that used to be verb. Use the structure where plus subject. For example, were this my hotel, I would be ashamed. If we were my hotel, when the if clause refers to an unlikely future event, we use the inversion where plus subject plus to plus infinitive. We can use this structure with the verbs other than be. Example, were I to leave a review one day, it would be 1 star. For same, if I left a review blah 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 at some point in the future. In the third inversion, in the third conditional, to invert third conditional, if clauses use the structure had plus subject plus participle. For example, had we know about the bed bug infestation, we never know have given to that room. For same, if we had known about the bug infestation, do not use contraction in negative inverted conditionals. For example, had the hotel been so awful, I would have enjoyed myself. Not the hotel been so awful, blah blah blah. Thank you. That's all for my explain. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Diva Nabila. I want to explain about present perfect tense. Present perfect tense is grammatical tense used to show an activity in the past that is still happening today. The present perfect tense is formed with auxiliary verb have or has and the past participle verb 3. Have is used for I, you and plural subjects like plural personal pronouns like they, we, plural nouns like boys or men, and then compound subject with the conjunction and like you and I or Tom and Jack. As the first singular subject such as third person singular pronoun like he, she, it, and then like singular nouns like Tom and man. Present perfect have a time expression like already, just, recently, ever, yet, for use at a timestamp indicating the past until now, and then signs use a timestamp indicating the verb stamp and the event for activity start. Okay, the next I will explain for example present perfect tense like positive. They have lived in Jakarta for a long time, and then he has learned English for 1 year. The next negative, like he has not learned English for 1 year, and then the negative, they have not lived in Jakarta for a long time. And then interrogative, have they lived in Jakarta for a long time? And then has been learned English for 1 year. Okay, the last I will explain about using present perfect in the passive. When the sentence is the active form, which is when the subject is described as performing an action. When we use the passive form, we focus on what or who is receiving the action. If needed, we can express the same thing with the present perfect, like active form, people have collected the goods. Passive form, the goods have been collected. In the passive form of the present perfect, we always use has or have been and then verb 3. Here's some example. The proposal have been written. The application have not been checked yet. The intern have been trained. And then he has been taken to see the president. Alright, I think that's all for our presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.